Hi folks, it's Bob at Northland Screen Printing. I've had a couple of requests from members of the Screen Printers Open Forum to post some video of my new Anatol Titan press. So I'll take a few minutes here and show you some of the features on the press. I'll try to avoid turning this into a sales post. Quite frankly, I think that most pieces of equipment, presses in particular, sell themselves. They either have the features that you need or they don't. So I'll try to talk about what features on this press were important to me and where I think this press would be a good fit. We're a home-based printer. As you can see, this press is set up in my garage. Somewhere in the near future I'll be dismantling it and moving it into the house so that I can print more comfortably inside the house. The single most important feature for me with this press purchase was the footprint size of the machine. This press is roughly 8 foot 3 inches in diameter. That's roughly the equivalent of most 6-color 4-station manual press. So physically it will fit into the same space as most manual presses. In addition to size, of course, price is another important feature. This is considered an entry-level press. I won't state the price that I paid for the press because I'm not sure if the price I paid is a universal price nationwide. I will say this, if the machine were to be bought via financing, you could probably buy the machine for somewhere in the neighborhood of about $100 a week. If you're billing $50 an hour for your time, and you should be able to bill a minimum of $50 an hour a time when you're printing automatically because your productivity goes up. That $100 a week translates really only into a couple of hours of print time a week. So price-wise, I think this press, or most entry-level presses, fit into most printer shops. They just haven't taken the time to figure out how it fits into their shop. One big advantage to the Anatol Titan is that it uses a 20-inch wide screen. So if you're currently printing manually using 20 by 24 screens, you'll be able to continue using whatever screens, whatever exposure unit, whatever drying cabinet you're using. All those pieces of equipment will be usable. The only other piece of equipment that would be necessary is an air compressor and a refrigerated air dryer. Because this press uses very little air, you can get by with a pretty modest size air compressor. I purchased the machine with a servo indexer, so it uses very little air. That's a real nice feature for me. My air compressor is in the corner of the room here in a closet, and then even though the closet does muffle the sound some, it's still nice to not have to listen to that air compressor running. So let me spend a few minutes talking about some of the other features on the press now. The pallets are rubber coated. This is my first experience printing on rubber coated pallets. I only have about 1,000 impressions on the press, but I can already see that printing on a rubber surface is going to be a big advantage compared to printing on a raw aluminum pallet, which my old automatic press was, or even printing on a melamine surface similar to what most manual presses have. These pallets are what Anatol calls their quick change. There's a single lever in the front, and if you loosen that, you can pop the pallet right out. This block drops right into this area, and then the clamp will clamp it down. I'm not sure how important a feature that will be for me. Quite frankly, most of what I do is just printing on adult t-shirts and adult sweatshirts, so I probably won't be changing pallets a lot, but it might be a nice feature to have a set of pallets that were set up for sleeves or set up for shorts or something like that. So keep that in mind, whatever press you're looking at, you know, what are you going to need in the future for pallets? What do those pallets cost? That type of thing. This pallet is fairly compact. It's 16 inches wide by 22 inches long. I know I can easily fit youth large and youth medium shirts onto here. I haven't tried putting a youth small on here, but I suspect because it's only 16 inches wide that a youth small shirt would fit on here. So quite frankly, this one set of pallets I think will cover most of my needs. The operator's control station, I won't spend a lot of time talking about that. It's fairly complex and I'm still learning how to use it, but I will say that that for each of the active print stations you can activate the squeegee or the print station by just pressing a button. Because this machine is a servo machine, I can index it either forwards or backwards in a full stroke, or I can index it in a half stroke. That's a nice feature. One feature that I did add to this press is I paid an extra $500 to have it manufactured in such a way that it could be dismantled into a smaller size. Most presses, the print arms come off. That's the way it is. That's the case with the Anatol Titan. All 5 of the print arms will lift off. But in addition to that, the pallet arm can on this press can come off also. There's just a pair of bolts in the front here, one bolt down in the bottom. If I take those fasteners off, the whole pallet arm comes right out. So after I remove the print and the pallet arms, essentially you've shrunk the size of the press down to basically just the width of the base, and that will easily fit through my patio door. I have a walkout basement, and I can bring it right in through the patio door, right into the basement to print in there. So that's something to keep in mind. Make sure that you have adequate space for your press. You need a couple of feet all the way around it to get screens in and out. There's never enough space in a print shop, so think ahead. Do ask, take the time to ask your manufacturer every question you can think of. The vendor that you're purchasing the press through, make sure that they're willing to give you whatever support you need. They can take you out and show you presses in the field. Unfortunately for me, there weren't a lot of Titans in the field, but because the print head design is very similar to a Horizon or a Horizon Mini, I was able to look at the print head design on presses within about a 5-mile radius of me. There's 3 or 4 Anatol Horizons in production. Most of the operators that I talked to were happy with their presses. Quite frankly, I was a little surprised that they'd let me into their shops, but they were very cordial and spent some time with me, and I appreciate that. And hopefully by doing this video, I'll pass that on a little bit. I'd like to spend a few minutes next talking about the print arms. I did opt to order this machine with just a single unload station and 5 print arms. I work alone, and so I don't have the luxury of an unloader, and so just having a single station worked fine. If for some reason I had a bigger job that was, say, 20,000 shirts and I needed to add an unloader into the picture, I would always have the option of removing 1 print arm and freeing up 1 station as an unload station. So I'm not sure if that need will ever arise, but I can certainly always do that if I have to. So let me show you how the print arms on the Anatol Titan are set up, and here again it's very similar to the Horizon or the Horizon Mini.